My name is Julius Ramirez, so I'm the Senior Vice President of Global Revenue and Partnerships at Chartboost. Chartboost essentially was founded in 2011, and we're a programmatic mobile in-app advertising and monetization platform. What that means is that we essentially help publishers to essentially maximize their yield for their inventory and essentially work with leading mobile marketers to not only achieve performance, but also help them to scale and understand insights to what is working, what's not, and why. So over the next few years, I think we're going to notice a couple of trends, right? The first and foremost trend that we're going to see is downward pressure from marketers to be more accountable for fraud. They're going to pressure all of their ecosystem partners and their buying environments to ensure that they have the proper mechanisms in place to keep them safe and away from any type of fraudulent or suspicious activity. I would say the second trend that we're going to see out in the ecosystem is that there's going to be a rise in third-party auditors, specifically within the mobile in-app ecosystem. Today, there's a lot of fragmentation in terms of different types of fraud detection, different types of methodologies. And what we're going to see is a lot of standardization where we're looking at neutral parties who all they do all day is look at what's fraudulent and what's not, and then not have a position within media or the advertising side. Yeah, I think that when we think about the ecosystem as a whole, a lot of parties take the route of essentially blaming the other party, and it's an easy route to say that somebody else is fraudulent and I'm not. The fact of the matter is that it's an ecosystem issue, right? It's an industry issue that we all need to solve. So I think that there's two things that stakeholders need to be aware of. One of which is, I mentioned earlier, is full accountability, and full accountability against the inventory that they're buying and selling, and with the commitment to essentially stop buying that inventory or stop selling that inventory from those particular publishers. The second thing is really around commitment, right? Looking at commitment on how we can make sure that we standardize the way that we're looking at what's fraudulent and what's not, and adopt the best practices of the industry. Commitment to enforce accountability and action across the ecosystem. So if you find that a partner is fraudulent or has some fraudulent exposure across their supply or the buyer set, you want to enforce that accountability, but if it is on your side, you want to also accept that as well. So I think those are the two things that stakeholders need to really figure out and make sure that we come together to combat fraud as a whole.